All right, Shalom Yasharallah, Shalom Israel. Well, to the elect of the nation of Israel, before we go any further within this lesson, I want to open up by giving all praises, honor, and glory with infinite blessings unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahahak Wadash. And I also want to give double honors to our beloved elder bishops and to the other apostles of Great Millstone that teach well and that rule well, with much blessings and salutations, as always, going on to the hopeful elect, to the Akim, Wafi Akwaf that are tuning in, and to the brethren laboring within this truth, scattered across the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Barakatam, unto you and into your households. All right, as we're living in these evil days. All right, these evil times, in which the scriptures have foretold us about, man. All right, and hey, bro, simply hopping straight to it and straight to the point, man. To the point, man. It's going down, bro. All right, it is going down. All right, and we're seeing a progression, okay, to these visions, man, being fulfilled, man. Because people, really mainly Jake, think, all right, these prophecies that were written aforetime, okay, or in an appointed time, are going to happen, 500 years later, 1,000 years down the line. It won't happen in their lifetime. But, truthfully, man, just by, the words of the Lord, which are faithful and true, because it's literally being played out as we see it. All right, these things going to take effect in our lifetime, in which we see it right now. They're about to go to war, bro. The U.S., Iran, Russia, China, okay, the rest of these major nations, okay, in these countries, they're preparing for war, in which this is all biblical prophecy, all right? World War III is inevitable, man. Don't matter how many deals, okay, and Trump, all right, is trying to push out in peace treaties and things of that sort, all right? Because the will of the Lord is that Iran, okay, Israel, and the U.S., okay, or go out in a conflict, also with, these other nations, man. But the main players, in this war, this world war that's about to take place, in which it's already started, is Israel, okay, which is the least of the flock, and going back to the scriptures, all right, America, which is known as Babylon the Great, which will be destroyed in this war, okay, and Russia, which will be Gog, Magog, all right, and then you also have Iran, which will be protected, will more so be aided, by this powerhouse, okay, this guard. So, let's get straight to it.
Negotiations, saying we must definitely reach this certain agreement, that is foolish.
We're still very far apart on some issues.
Possible war with Iran. Times of Israel, U.S.-Iran war could be imminent, take weeks. Wall Street Journal, Iran is getting ready for war with the U.S. Axios, Trump moves closer to a major war with Iran.
It looks like the United States is going to be going to war with Iran. Unless something drastically changes soon, we're hearing that Donald Trump is ready to declare war here any day now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest articles coming out overnight so you can see it for yourself. The U.S. military prepared to strike Iran as early as this weekend, some are saying, but Trump has yet to make a final call, sources say. Forget the Board of Peace. Trump may be closer than thought to attacking Iran. Whether Americans are ready or not, Trump inches the U.S. closer to a war in Iran. And Iran-U.S. tensions live. Iran cannot continue to threaten stability of the Middle East, Trump warns. And we're hearing world will know if Iran peace is possible in the next 10 days. Donald Trump tells the Board of Peace. We are hearing right now that a lot of people don't realize that it looks like we are on track for a war unless something changes dramatically here. And you're going to be hearing a lot of the opinions coming out over the last 24 hours as we're hearing that it looks very likely we're going to have war. Israel has been notified in the last 24 hours to prepare for war. And we're hearing that right now the U.S. has moved almost a third of its naval fleet to surround Iran. And they're saying this is a very expensive move just to kind of be showing force. They say they believe that they are doing this because it has been decided. It just has not been officially declared yet. The United States is about to go to war with Iran. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in, get you caught up on the latest so that way you can see what's unfolding here. Play for you the video footage. The articles are hyperlinked in the description. As you know, I cite all the sources.
All right, what you heard. Okay, they're preparing for war, man. You know, it's that time. So let me start with the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, man. Because this is what the Lord, all right, this is what Yahweh Bashim Shai wants. All right, this is not up to Trump, okay, or Putin. You know, it's the Lord that has finalized that has made that decree, okay, that these nations will go to war. You know, so let's grab this real quick. Right, ain't no time of peace, man. No peace. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, and starting at verse 1. It says, "To everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the heaven." All right. So let's get down to the point. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 8. It says, "A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace." All right, so which we're in that time of war. All right, this is why you have naval ships, all right, the U.S. naval ships traveling over there to the east, man. All right, this is why you have Iran in Russia, with the aid of China as well, doing joint drills. This shit is not for show. Okay, what's in the minds of these kings, in which the Lord controls the minds of these kings, these generals, these rulers, all right, is to prepare yourself. All right, we're seeing, all right, the book of Joel, chapter 3, if I'm correct, we're seeing, you know, those prophecies, that prophecy, okay, manifesting, you know, is speaking. All right, where all these nations are going to, you know, go down to the east and fight in this devastating, you know, war of all wars, man. World War III, which is biblical prophecy. All right. Scrap this real quick. All right, because Trump, all right, and Netanyahu, all right, these fucking devils have no intentions of stopping war or bringing any type of peace. All right, their intentions is, all right, to go over there and to, you know, take over that land, you know, take over the east. Okay, get rid of, you know, those people over there. But, you know, to the media, what he's telling the masses of the world, you know, the people of the world, and, you know, the Babylonians, is that what they're doing is justified, man. Okay. And which really, it's very hypocritical of America, man. All right. Because they don't want Iran to have nuclear capabilities. This is why we've seen before, America has had strikes sent out on Iran, and in certain places, in certain laboratories, like they said, all right, to get rid of the nuclear capabilities of this, you know, their enemies. But you know, truth be told, man, they didn't get rid of shit. All right, you know, them Iranians, okay, are still have and are able to, you know, possess, okay, those weapons of destruction, which is ultimately going to take out, you know, America, man, once this war is in its prime and its full effect. You know what I'm saying? But this is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, and verse 20. It says he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. All right, and it's talking about these fucking devils, man, these Edomites. Okay, these small hats, man, especially these damn small hats, Yahoo. All right, those people of that land. All right, we understand how they get down and they are the wicked. All right, it says he have broken his covenant. His covenant. You know, they've made multiple treaties or so-called deals, and now they're trying to get the approval, okay, or get Iran to sign off on a peace treaty, okay, of having no nuclear, you know, missiles and stuff like that. But these people over there, they understand the nature of this fucking devil, man, that he can't be trusted. All right, and ultimately they're really trying to do this to get control, okay, over the resources over there, the oils. All right, they really just want to take everything, man. Okay, when I say they, I'm talking about Babylon. Okay, you know, the U.S. All right, and you know, Iran. I mean, Salakia, Israel. Okay, verse 21 says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Yeah, they talk a good game. It sounds good. You know, some slick shit, man. You know, they'll have the people on their side, you know, which really, you know, the masses of the people, these people that don't know what the fuck going on, you know. So they'll say something and they'll believe it. All right, well, whole time, the U.S. is a fucking bad guy, man. You know. But it says, but war was in his heart. Yeah, man. War is in these people's minds. War is in their mind. Okay, their inward thought is that their you know, that their houses should continue forever, man. These damn Edomites. You know, and this is what they want to do. But them damn heathens over there ain't having it. You know, and this is why the prime, or you know, the head over there of Iran, you know, constantly keeps rejecting, you know, or pushing back the, you know, that offer, that peace treaty, man, because once again, man, these nations know who the wicked is, who the devil is, you know. And it says, his words were softer than oil, yet they drawn swords. Yeah. And this is why you have over there the naval, you know, a couple of naval ships that's going over there, flying over there to the east. You also have, you know, some forces of the Air Force of the U.S., you know, going over there to the east because they're preparing for, you know, this war. They're preparing, you know, to fulfill the will of Yahweh Bashim Shai, man. So let's grab this articles real quick, man. And, you know, Lord, when this lesson is edifying. Okay. So let's go a little bit back. So from the first article, in which you can look this up, you know, just search the heading, which is, are we heading for World War III? And then, you know, if you can't find it, look, you know, put in depth. That's what I did. But it says, large percentage of voters in the United States, Canada, UK, France, and Germany believe global conflict could erupt in in the next 5 years. All right, which in the next 5 years, man, that's like 2030. That's damn near 2030, man. And these devils don't have that long. All right, they have an agenda. Okay, something called, Operation, 2030, where they want world dominance by that time. Okay, meaning they want everything that they've been planning. Okay, and they have it in the works to be, ultimately fulfilled, up and running, man, with this new world order, this NWO. All right, and this is why these devils are moving the way that they're moving. All right, but it says China, Russia, North Korea, and the Middle East are all potential flashpoints. Yeah, these are the major players. All right, it's a nice picture too. It says the outbreak of World War III is more likely than not in the next 5 years. Fuck the next 5 years now. Okay. It says, according to a new survey of voters in the U.S., Canada, UK, France, and Germany, okay, the political poll of more than 2,000 people in each country revealed mounting public alarm about the risk and the cost of a new era of conflict, but also limited willingness among the Western public to make sacrifices to pay for more military spending. The pattern is particularly stark in Britain, where 43% believe a world war is likely or very likely to break out by 2031. Up from 30% in March 2025, at least 1 in 3 people in the US, UK, France, and Canada believe a nuclear weapon is likely or very likely to be used in a war in the next 5 years, man. This is how these wars will be fought. Okay, these upcoming wars, all right, will be fought by thermonuclear missiles. It just tells us about it. So we're gonna get into it. All right. It says, what is that? Isaiah 9:5. How these upcoming these wars, will be fought with burning and fuel and of fire. All right. So Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. And it says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. All right. In which that's talking about, how wars were fought back then in ancient times and how they would get down. It would be, 2 separate armies coming to one spot, and they getting it on, man. All right, swords, spears, daggers, knives, whatever, and this was like close hand-to-hand combat. Meanwhile, as these fights are going on, man, it's a lot going on. You hearing swords clanking, all right, people hitting each other with shields and all type of shit, man. Battle cry, that's how it got down back then. All right, and it says in garments rolled in blood. Yeah, real deal, up and close, man. Okay, within reach. They didn't have fucking AR-16s or M16s and all these type of weapons they got now, as in the gun. They had all the other stuff, man. All right, like spears and axes and shit, man. But it says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And it said, but this. It said this. All right, and it's referring to this war, bro. It's talking about World War III. Okay, in which a lot of people, are coming to that fact that, this is it's a high chance, man. Because it's prophecy, and which is not a high chance. It's a likely, not even likely. It's destined, okay, to happen. It's already been written. Okay. But it says likely or very likely to break out by 2031. which has already started. But it says up from 30% in March 2025, at least 1 in 3 people in the US, UK, France, and Canada believe a nuclear weapon is likely or very likely to be used in a war in the next 5 years. So that just goes to throw it out that war is in the air. All right, the Lord has put that in the air, man. War, death and destruction is coming to, the world. Okay, but mainly, all right, the place of wickedness, man. Babylon the Great, aka America. So let's go to this. Another quick article. It says U.S. military moves into place for possible strikes in Iran. This is the U.S. military. All right, what they're preparing for, possible strikes in Iran. President Trump has given no indication that he has made a decision about how to proceed as diplomatic talks continue. For what? Talks for what, man? You can obviously see that, Iran, they ain't going for that shit, bro. And yet the U.S. is still persistent, all right, doing the will of these damn small hats. And bro, everybody fucking knows it. Social media is clowning them. Okay, getting on the ones that, wear the little hats and kiss the wall. All right, and how Babylon the Great, is following after them and doing their deeds. Okay. It says the rapid buildup of U.S. forces in the Middle East has progressed to the point that President Trump has the option to take military action against Iran as soon as this weekend. Administration and Pentagon officials said, leaving the White House with high stakes choices about pursuing diplomacy or war. Mr. Trump has given no indication that he has made a decision about how to proceed, but the drive to assemble a military force capable of striking Iran's nuclear program. Yeah, they don't want them to have them things. They got them things, man, them weapons of mass destruction. Weapons that fucking destroy worlds, bro. All right. It says its ballistic missiles and accompanying launch sites has been continued this week despite indirect talks between the two nations on Tuesday, with Iran seeking 2 weeks to come back with fleshed or proposals for a diplomatic resolution. Yeah, man, their resolution is going to tell fucking the whore to suck it. All right, big ass nukes, man. He just got nukes, man. They got them weapons, bro. And they got the aid of, Master P, man, Putin, Vladimir Putin. Military aid, assistance. All right, also from, Big Zhao Jinping, right? Which he's the head of China. All right, also aiding Iran. They backing up Iran, so you have heavy hitters, all right, backing up this small nation, this so-called weak nation. So, hey, this shit's going down, bro. All right. It says Mr. Trump has reportedly demanded that Iran gives up its nuclear program. So this is what's going on for those who might not know. All right, how the Lord's putting it out there. Okay, because at the end, it's all prophecy, but it's a build up to these things. All right. So, to put it in a carnal form, this is the build up to World War III, and the reasoning, so-called, of why, the U.S. is dragged into it and going into, within this war. So it says, bear with me for a second. It says, Mr. Trump has given no indication that he has made a decision about how to proceed, but the drive to assemble a military force capable of striking Iran's nuclear program Its ballistic missiles and accompanying launch sites has continued this week, despite indirect talks between the two nations on Tuesday, with Iran seeking 2 weeks to come back with fleshed or proposals for diplomatic resolutions. Mr. Trump has reportedly demanded that Iran give up its nuclear program, including agreeing not to enrich any more uranium, okay, which is a resource they need to make these missiles of mass destruction, bro, weapons. It says Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, okay, not a Jew, of Israel, whose country would potentially take part in an attack, has been pushing for action to weaken Iran's ability to launch missiles at Israel. Israeli forces, which have been on heightened alert for weeks, have been making more preparations for a possible war. It's not possible, but it's not possibly. It's going to happen. I'm telling you this now. All right, World War III is going to take place in your lifetime, in my lifetime, our lifetime. Okay, not fucking 5 years from now. All right, it's going to take place very soon. All right, this place is done. You know, the Lord is done with this place, man. And that World War III is going to usher in the destruction of Babylon the Great, which is known as America. You people don't know where you at. This is not the land of the brave, the free. This is the land of the proud, the freaks. Okay, and the fucking Chaldeans. This is why this place has to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. Why America is being dragged in this war. So let's grab that real quick. Let's get Jeremiah 50:45. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, in verse 45. It says, "Therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh, that he have taken against Babylon." And that's talking about America, man. This place is known as Mystery Babylon the Great. All right, you're not going to find America, all right, the name America in the scriptures, man. All right, because this place was not, formed yet, or named America. All right, but Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon the Great, it's talking about America, man. All right, and hear the counsel of the heavenly powers, man, Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, and what the Lord has for this place. It says that he have taken against Babylon. So the Lord is against this place. And it says in his purposes, all right, that he have purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. All right, these sorcerers, all right, these elites, these top-making families, man, because this place is their baby. All right, this is their baby, man. But the Lord is against these devils, all right, and everything that they have running. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. And the least of the flock, that's talking about Israel. Okay, perfect, representative, for Israel's Netanyahu, that fucking mascot. But he's the one, okay, bringing out, calling for strikes upon Iran and asking for aid and, etc. from America, man. So getting America involved within these conflicts, man, and this is what's going to get this whore clapped. All right, this is what's going to get this place going up and out of there. All right, it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Yeah, desolate. All right, because the Lord is about to fucking destroy all this shit off. All of it. All 50 states, man. All this shit gonna be gone. It's gonna be destroyed. All right, and something it's called the third woe. Let's grab that. The book of Revelation. All right, because you people think this shit's a game. This is not no game, bro. This is real life. All right, these missiles exist. All right, one of them things gets like 3 times hotter than the sun. Okay, so imagine the sun multiplied by however number, all right, in a missile, okay, and just dropped on your ass, man. Lord's about to drop the fucking suns, hundreds of suns, all right, on this place, man. So the book of Revelation, chapter 14. Slakia. The book of Revelation, chapter 11, and verse 14. All right, let it be known. This is biblical prophecy. World War III is biblical prophecy. All right, which will come to pass. It says, the second woe is past. All right, so just how World War II took place here on this earth, in which we understand it took place, and it's past, it's happened. But let that be known that that was biblical prophecy, man. That was written within these scriptures to happen, and it did. So how much more this woe? And it says, and behold, behold, look, be watching, be attentive, man, because, if you don't watch, that day, okay, of great destruction, is gonna meet you, when you least expect it, man. You don't want that, all right? Because you when that happens, it's over, bro. We don't want that, all right? So this is why we're watching, okay, and we're telling you, of that day, man, warning you, showing you these signs, all right, of that day that's coming, man, that shall burn as like an oven. All right, it says, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, and these woes that it's talking about within this scripture right here is referring to, all right, these wars that took place on the earth. So the scripture just told us, man, the second woe is past, which was World War II, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So the third World War III is coming quickly. This shit is happening fast, all right, and we can expect some strikes upon, Iran, very soon. Let's see where these naval ships, U.S. Naval and Air Force in East. This one, look at let's get this one, CBS, full of shit. But it says, as Trump pushes Iran to make a deal, scores of U.S. warplanes join Armada heading for the region. Let's look up what's Armada. I've heard it before, but I've never. Fleet of warships, a fleet of warships. All right, so those warships are already over there in the east. Okay, it says the U.S. Navy's 1,000-foot-long aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, switched on its tracking system for a few hours Wednesday afternoon, revealing its position about 175 miles off the west coast of Morocco on a path for the Strait of Gibraltar and onward into the Mediterranean Sea. The location revealed by the vessel suggested it could arrive in the eastern Mediterranean days earlier than previously anticipated. The Ford is the second U.S. aircraft carrier ordered by President Trump to head for the waters around Iran as a part of a massive military buildup as he pushes to Islamic Republic to make a deal on its nuclear program. Yeah, so they're already preparing and they're getting ready, man, for these strikes, potential strikes, which we could see this week. And I also heard that a tactic that that they're going in is to try to surround Iran, and come to neighboring countries, but basically try to surround Iran. But it's on, man. It says the Naval Armada, as Mr. Trump has called it, is accompanied by a huge surge of U.S. military aircraft to Europe and the Middle East. A CBS News analysis has found Top national security officers have told Mr. Trump the United States is ready for potential strikes on Iran as soon as Saturday, which is today. Which is tomorrow. It says, but the timeline for any action is likely to extend beyond this weekend. Sources familiar with the discussion told CBS News on Wednesday, adding that President Trump had not yet made a final decision about whether to strike Iran. Now is the time for Iran to join us on a path that will complete what we're doing. What the fuck is that, man? The NWO? All right, it says Mr. Trump said Thursday at a gathering of his Board of Peace in Washington, if they join us, they'll be great. That'll be great. If they don't join us, that'll be great too. But it'll be a very difficult path. Different path. Nick talk. It says the president said, adding, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but bad things will happen if it doesn't. Yeah, man, so that's what's going on, bro. All right, let's see what Iran and Russia up to. Let's see what them boys talking about. Iran, Russia, China. Let's look up this. All right, this is from Anadolu Agency. I don't know what the fuck that is. I've never been on this one before, but it says Russia, China, Iran deploy ships for joint exercises in the Strait of Hormuz. Russia, China, and Iran have deployed naval vessels for joint exercises in the Strait of Hormuz. Russian President Nikolai Patrushev said on Tuesday in an interview with the weekly Argumently Fately Patrushev said Russia is working to build a multipolar world order on the oceans in response to what he called Western hegemony. We will tap into the potential of BRICS, which shall now be given a full-fledged strategic maritime dimension, he said. He added that the first BRICS naval exercise, dubbed Will for Peace 2026, was held in January in the South Atlantic and involved Russia, China, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, South Africa. According to Patrushev, participating navies practice coordinating efforts to protect trade routes, which he said are becoming increasingly valuable. Yeah, because over there, in the Strait of Hormuz is, basically one of the biggest oil ports, places of, coming and doing without, over there in that region, man, oil trading, basically. Fuck it, I looked it up. We just get it right here. I said, what is the Strait of Hormuz? All right. It says it's important because one of the most critical oil choke points in the world. And I asked ChatGPT this. It says, why the Strait of Hormuz matters. Massive oil flow. About 20% of the world's oil supply passes through it. That's roughly 1 out of every 5 barrels of oil traded globally. Key location. It's a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman. So Iran has that shit on lock. All right. It says it connects to the Persian Gulf, where major oil producers are, to the open ocean. Bullet point 3 says energy security. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, UAE, and Qatar rely on it to export oil and natural gas. If it gets blocked or disrupted, global oil and gas prices can spike quickly, and that's what we're going to see. All right, soon, coming in these months, man. All right, inflation. It says Iran borders that strait and has at times threatened to close it during conflicts. It says because it's so narrow, about 20 miles wide, it's vulnerable to military or shipping disruptions. In short, the Strait of Hormuz is important because a huge portion of the world's energy supply passes through a very narrow but politically sensitive choke point. So this is where they're at right now, all right, doing drills. All right, what you see, Master P not playing, man. All right, it says the Maritime Security Bill is set to be hosted by Iran mid-February in the Strait of Hormuz, which lies between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, one of the world's most strategically important choke points, according to the semi-official Tasnim news agency. These joint naval drills were first launched in 2019 at the initiative of Iran's Navy and have been held 7 times since then. All right. I want to show you the alliance, all right, of these nations, man. So let's grab this right quick. Standings. It's two. So basically from the last time we spoken up on the tensions, that's going on, around the, with this whole war. Recently I haven't seen any updates, but on the response of Iran. But it seems, man, they still standing on business, basically telling them. It says, Iran foreign minister says there is no military solution to our nuclear program as Trump ramps up threats. It says, I know that a deal is achievable, but it should be fair and based on a win-win solution, said Abbas Araghchi. A military option will only complicate this, will only bring about disastrous consequences. Yeah, so they tell him, yeah, we could take it there too. Because once again, the thing is, Iran wants, these missiles, man. They need them. This is what makes them, what's putting them in the game to, stand up and fight against this bully, which is Babylon the Great, aka America. All right, and yet America doesn't want them with these things, man. So America feels threatened. All right, either one feels threatened, they're going to do as such and fulfill the will of the Lord at the end of the day. So this is where we're at, man. Hey, actually, let me get that book. Let me get that Joel. All right. Once again, this is the decree of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. The book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. All right. Proclaim ye this, man. Look at what that word proclaim means. All right, which is going into these nations, man. It's going into these other nations. All right, China, Iran, Brazil, United States. All right, Russia, Switzerland. Cedric. Prepare war. Okay, prepare war. And that's what they're doing. They're preparing for fucking war. All right, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. The mighty men. These heavy hitters. The bear, bro. Putin. China. Kim Jong-un. All right. So wake them up. All right. It's time. It's time, man. Okay. It says, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. And right now we're seeing, Iran and, the U.S. But, hey, more people are going to get involved. All right? More nations are going to get involved within this conflict. This is why it's known as the World War III. Okay? A world's conflict where all rulers, or kings, which is ultimately, that's what they are. All right? Will take place. All right, they will be drugged into this. This is what the Lord wants. It says, beat your plowshares into swords. All right, I'm going into, instead of, building up the economy, all right, or, putting their funds that they make off of the resources they make in their land, yet, instead of building up their nation, it was like the Lord said, man, put that into your army, put that into your military. Okay, so because pruning hooks, all right, is basically tools to cultivate the land in which you know, it brings revenue, man. That's the point. The Lord says, and your pruning hooks into spears. Yeah. It says, let the weak say, I am strong. And that's what's going on, man. The weak. So these lesser nations, all right, being kicked around, bullied around by America for years, man. You know, perfect man example is Iran. Okay. Bossed up. They on their boss shit now, man. Why? Because they have these missiles. They have you know, backup from other countries that are strong. All right. But the main thing is they got them motherfucking bombs, boy. They got them missiles, them nukes. Fuck a bomb. They got them nukes. All right. Which put them in the game with the big players now, bro. The big boys. All right. That's why it says, I am strong. All right. This is why, you know, Iran can respond in the way of they are not the aggressors, but any, you know, ill intent towards Iran would cause, you know, a world's war, man. You know, to where they not fucking off. Verse 11 says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. All right, that's what you see the U.S. is doing right now. They're assembling, you know, smallly, you know, a little, gradually, but surely. All right. But you're going to have not only the U.S., you're going to have more of these people, you know, sending their armies down there to the east. Because this is the battlefield. That's the playing field where the Lord is going to allow, you know, the full effect of World War III. All right. It says, and gather yourselves together. Oh, my fault. It says, assemble yourselves and come all you heathen. And gather yourselves together round about. All right. Thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Yeah, the Lord is doing this. Scrap it. Close out soon. My phone tweaking. All right. Verse 12 says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. Which in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shaphat, meaning the Lord's judgment, because this is where these people are marching themselves into judgment of the Heavenly Father, okay, through his son Yahweh Shai. It says, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Yeah, because when these wars takes place, man, the Lord's gonna fucking smash all of them. People are going over there to their judgment. They're not coming back home. All right, people are gonna be soil over there. All right, these men are going to be sent out, drafted in the war. All right, because there's a draft coming to the U.S. All right, you men, you able-bodied men, you men young and old, you will be sent out to that war. All right, for your judgment in World War III. It says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fast overflow, for their wickedness is great. Yeah, and the Lord's about to start slaying shit, man. Okay, it says multitudes in the valley of decision. Yeah, there's armies. There'll be hella armies down there, man. It says, for the day of Yahweh is near the valley of decision. In the valley of decision. Okay, so that's what's about to take place, man. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing a build up to this, you know, prophecy coming to pass and happening, man. And you know, Lord willing, hopefully, you know, U.S. does strike Iran. You know, they get it on and going, man. But you know, this is just update. Okay, World War III, it's already started, man. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. You know, Yahweh Ratazah, you know, it's saved on my phone. And I'm gonna say, Tawadi Yahba Shema Shah, forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory with infinite blessings to Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem, Rakak Wadash. Tell us I'm gonna say something.